to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with your hosts, E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
Episode 37 is brought to you by 606 Media, Noir Caesar, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to check out gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order.
That's right.
As always, I'm Big Z, and I'm here with my boy E-Roc. What up, E?
What's good, Z? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. If you're a first-timer or a long-timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button, and go ahead and give us a review, hopefully 5 stars on your listening app of choice. And don't forget, you can support the show at anchor.fm/TrueChicagoSportsFans/support. What's good, Z? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How was your little hiatus trip?
Took a little vacation over to the Smoky Mountains, a little bit of hiking. As surprising as that may seem, have some fun, get away, view the mountains,
Did you add a little smoke to the Smoky Mountains?
So there's a quick programming note we want to talk about real quick. Listen up. So our boy, Jose Shorty Torres, he was on our last show. He is fighting on March 25th, but Shorty's original opponent, Sean Santella, Shorty Rock, he had to withdraw due to injury, so there will be no rematch at this time.
That's right. So instead, our Shorty, will fight Blaine O'Driscoll. So Shorty could have basically taken a bye because of his opponent dropping out and being hurt, but he moved into the next round. But he decided, I'm going to earn my spot.
That's right.
He has to beat Driscoll though. I mean that's a scary situation though. This kid's had nothing to lose.
The kid has nothing to lose. It's a big fight for him now. Blaine O'Driscoll. Irish kid, because like Shorty told us before, this is the international tournament. He's fighting a lot of guys he's never met before, a lot from all over the place. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not going to get his rematch, but he's going to be fighting a young kid who's going for it. And good for him. Look, you can take the easy way out and you can take the bye, or you can be like, you know what? I'm here. I'm a former UFC fighter. I'm going to show that I need to earn my spot. And props to Shorty for that, man.
Oh, most definitely. That just shows his heart and determination to be
Absolutely.
one of the best.
So listen, we got another great show packed.
Yeah, to the rafters
a lot of
today.
Chicago news.
Oh, man.
There is a new man under center for the Bears. We're also going to discuss which local team made it to the Sweet 16. Blackhawks struggle again against these Florida teams, which doesn't make sense because it's hot down there. I don't even like hockey. And Bulls, the Chicago Bulls, are rumored to be interested in a familiar name.
Oh, Mike Logic. I love this.
And also, Chicago baseball is back, baby. We bring back our 3 up and 3 down segment.
That's right. It's baseball season, so 3 up and 3 down is back.
Yeah.
Let's get it started. This is The Loop, our Chicago sports roundup where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
All right, E. Is there anything going on in Hallis Hall? I mean, it's been kind of quiet.
There is no news at Hallis Hall. What's next? No, never.
Yes.
Listen, the Chicago Bears have a brand new quarterback in the mix. Chicago offered 3 first-round picks, a third, and 2 starters for Russell Wilson.
And a bucket of chicken.
And Seattle declined. So we spent all that time talking about Russell Wilson. It was a pipe dream. We knew that it probably wasn't going to happen. But the Chicago Bears do have a new quarterback.
Who is it?
They signed Andy Dalton to a 1-year deal worth about $10 million. He came over after 1 season with the Cowboys. He was a backup for Dak Prescott. He started a handful of games after Prescott had that brutal leg injury. And Dalton was told by the Bears that he was brought in to be the starter.
That's insane. You're going to give this guy $10 million when you could have had him for like super cheap last year.
I think we know what this is. This is just the stopgap. Like I said, I went live because people were losing their mind. I went live right when this was happening the same day. Look, this is just to bridge the gap. We are going to draft a quarterback. They should draft a quarterback at least. Dalton seems like he wants to be here, mainly probably because they told him he's going to be the starter. But he came out and he said, this is the second half of my career. I want to play really good football. I want to help this team win a lot of games, and I want to bring some excitement to the city. Hey, man, I like what he's saying, at least.
I mean, you can't blame him.
No.
It's not his fault. It's the administration's fault. That's who the Bears fans should be mad about. Andy Dalton has no fault in getting paid. Hey.
Right. And here's the thing. I'm not really mad at the signing. If I'm going to be mad at anything, I'm mad at the fact that they gave him so much money.
Yes.
Especially when we're seeing the Bears do a lot of salary cutting moves. I think we geared ourselves up for Wilson coming here because of what we saw them doing, because Wilson's making like over $20 million a year. So
right.
I think that's what we thought was happening, obviously. But here's the thing, though. They tell Andy Dalton he's going to be the starter. I'm pretty sure they told Foles the same thing last year, that he was going to be the starter, or at least they hinted at it. But don't forget, the Bears should, emphasis on should, they should be drafting a quarterback. I think, considering the fact that they're sitting at 20, they might have to move up. I hope they go get someone like Trey Lance. I think that, the big names are not going to be there, but they should go get their quarterback.
So you're saying they should go for a quarterback in the first round?
Absolutely.
Not an offensive. Or do you go for best player overall?
You go for a quarterback. I mean, because that's who's going to... anyone that's worth anything is going to be gone by the time you get to the second round. Okay. Let's be honest. I mean, unless you find Russell Wilson in the fourth round, but that's very unlikely. Unless you find Tom Brady at pick 199, it's very unlikely.
Now with this administration.
Now, the thing is, they went hard after Wilson, but I don't think he was ever really available. I mean, we also heard the Bears were linked to Deshaun Watson. Well, apparently he's got a little bit of that Robert Kraft school of massage in him. He's been accused of sexual assaults in at least 10 lawsuits. He looks like he might not get that happy ending after all.
Not at all. Yeah, he's going to have to pay for it. That's right. I mean, the Bears also released Kyle Fuller, saving some money in cap space. And although the Bears were trying to trade Fuller, I mean, that was a long shot, given that he was due $14 million this season. And given that teams know that if they waited, the Bears were going to release him. So he became a free agent, and he wasn't on the board very long.
No, he was immediately picked up, and I think we knew where he was going.
Same colors, different city.
Picked up by his old defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, and the Denver Broncos. Like I said, we knew that was going to happen. A lot of people, again, lost their mind when this happened. Two of the people that lost their mind, Eddie Jackson and Cordell Patterson, and they went on Twitter. So our boy E-Jax went up there, and all he said was at this point, and he had the emoji of, the hand in the face or, the head in hand. But then also, Patterson came out and says, stop using the cap space as an excuse. But guess what, Patterson?
You're not on the Bears.
You're not on the team. He's a free agent, and there's no signs of him coming back to Chicago. He did express interest in rejoining his original team, the Minnesota Vikings. He's very active on Twitter, and another fan mentioned to him that the Tennessee Titans, would like to have him, and all he said was, "Yo, tell him to hit the line." So really, at this point, he'll go anywhere that'll have him, and we know that. Nagy is not going to have his gadget guy anymore, and thank God for that, because I don't think I could stand another year of failed end-arounds that get blown up 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, we got our Mighty Mouse back this year, so
that's true.
That's the gadget guy now.
The Bears did make a ton of moves aside from Andy Dalton. They picked up the former Lions cornerback Desmond Trufant, who was originally on the Atlanta Falcons for a long time. They gave him a 1-year deal. Like I said, it looks like this was a move to replace Fuller, and it seems like this was their plan all along. They knew that teams weren't going to bite to trade for Fuller when he was going to be released anyway. They also picked up from the Denver Broncos Jeremiah Atachu.
Good job there.
Yeah, this is. I had to research this on YouTube to figure out how to pronounce his name first. So I'm praying that I said it right. They signed him to a 2-year deal. He is super underrated. He is a very good player, and he's only 28.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, you're more the football expert on the show, and so me listening to you kill these names and not me butchering them. That's why I'm just letting you go, because I'd be butchering this stuff left and right.
Look, man, I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. My grasp of the English language isn't as great as I'd like it to be. There was some rumblings about the big boy in the middle, Akeem Hicks. He was given permission to seek a trade. And this, combined with the Fuller news and Andy Dalton signing, caused Bears fans to absolutely lose their mind. It was a complete and total, let's say, crap fest, I guess, on Twitter, because I can't say what I really want to say.
Oh yeah, I mean the rumors were all over the place. We report a lot of the news, and wait, you're gonna give one of the best players a permission to seek a trade? Like, that makes no sense. And then there's a report, they pulled it back. We don't want him to be traded anymore.
So here's the thing. You had what I believe happened is that I think Hicks and Fuller were the names that were mentioned as starters in the Russell Wilson trade. I also saw some stuff out there about Mac
and Roquan.
Roquan, I would have lost my mind about Roquan because I'm a huge Ro fan. That one would have been the one that blew me, because I would have been like, I would have been full on Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But there were the rumors that are out there that they were looking to trade or release Hicks to free up that space. They decided to keep Hicks on the roster, and that's what Brad Biggs said.
I mean, $10.5 million.
Right.
That's a lot. That's a big cap hit.
It is, but guess what? Our boy, Mitch Trubisky, the biscuit, he found a new home, bro.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Mitch signed with the Buffalo Bills. So him and what's the guy that got fired from Channel 7?
Oh, Gene
He's a Bills fan. Yeah, Gene Greco.
Yeah.
But Gene Greco can't get away from the biscuit. So they can go hang out together, since Gene Greco got no job now. Trubisky's going to back up Josh Allen. This is a great position for Trubisky, because there's no pressure. You got a new city. You got a great coach out there, and you're playing under a good quarterback. Unless he gets hurt, which we don't wish that on him. He should be able to learn, and then after this year, he should be able to be starting quarterback in the league.
So their coach came out and had a lot of praise for Trubisky. They says, you know what? They convinced Trubisky to come over to Buffalo. You know you're not going to start this year, but with your physical attributes, you're very similar to Josh Allen. And I want to say Allen's maybe a year younger, but I think what they're hoping is that he can rejuvenate his career by looking at what Josh Allen is able to do in a system that's similar to something that Trubisky would succeed in.
Right. Yeah. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. I mean, that was a.
You got to wait for this garbage mess dumpster fire that we have going on here.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. A lot of people were asking why they didn't bring Mitch back when you're going to give Andy Dalton $10 million. And the simple fact is that Matt Nagy does not like him. They do not get along. Okay.
No.
Now, to be fair, when you see Mitch half the time, he looks like how do I put this delicately? So he looks like he's kind of staring off at like a
deer in headlights. Yeah.
It looks like he's watching like a guy like flying a kite when he should be looking for his third receiver. You know what I mean? And it's kind of frustrating. But Mitch was never coming back to Chicago. I don't know what y'all thought, but he was not coming back here. Andy Dalton is really not your guy either. You know that he's just bridging that gap until they get the next young guy who they think is should have hopefully, please, Lord, make this be the guy. Find the right guy in the draft. and make this happen.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. All right, let's move on.
So the Bears also brought in Angelo Blackson. That was a very hard name to pronounce. No, Angelo Blackson, defensive lineman. He was on the Cardinals previously, and so yeah, I mean, like they're signing a ton of guys. It's yet to be seen what happens in this draft. I'm excited, cautiously optimistic. Hopefully, we see Pace live up to the Roquan Smith draft, right? The Cole Kmet, what we hope is going to be Cole Kmet. Even Leonard Floyd, who got a second contract with the Rams, okay? So
he does his best work in the later rounds, and then, that's what we've seen. Now, the thing is that he's drafting for his job.
Here's the thing. You only get one first-round pick every year. You know what I mean? Unless you're the Patriots and you get 7 and then you cheat and then you do whatever you do. But you only get one first-round pick every year. One of them was Mitch. One of them was Kevin White. But you had 2 of them that counted for the Khalil Mack trade. You have Roquan Smith. You have Leonard Floyd. And you have Cole Kmet, who it's yet to be seen what he is going to be overall. But he looks like he could be a really good player. So really, if you look at the fact that you managed to turn picks into Khalil Mack, you managed to draft our boy Roquan Smith, Leonard Floyd, who, again, is in his second contract, making a lot of money for the Rams after the Bears got rid of him. And Kmet, I mean, you look at that record, I mean, yeah, you got a couple of busts in there. I think, again...
Every team has bust.
Every team has busts, but the thing that will always stick on people's minds is the fact that he took Trubisky over Deshaun Watson...
And Mahomes.
And Mahomes, like I said, I'm a huge Mahomes fan. I think he's going to be the next GOAT. But that's the problem, is that we're going to keep hanging up on the one mistake, the one huge mistake.
Yeah, it'll be on his tombstone.
All right, what's going on at the Madhouse on Madison with the Blackhawks?
Hey, man, my boys are playing hard. They're playing hard, but they're just outgunned when it comes to playing these Florida teams, man.
Oof.
I mean, they're losing 4-1, 4-2 against the champs. No, it is the champs. But again, It's Florida. It's Florida, man. No one goes to baseball. No one goes to basketball games. No one goes to the hockey games, and they have a great team, man. So they're going to play the Panthers with Quinville. I think that's going to be, is it Kaner's 1,000th game tomorrow?
I believe
Tuesday. So just to clarify that, it'll be a Tuesday. So I believe that's it. That's the thing that, I mean, that's huge. 1,000 games.
Yeah, look, Kaner is by far, I've said it before, I'll say it again, he will end up being the number one, the best ever American hockey player ever. He's got the goals, he's got the games, he's got the titles. I mean, he's the best. And I want Blackhawks fans to remember that at one point, because of some very childish things that Patrick Kane was doing early in his career, the whole thing with the cab, they almost traded or released Patrick Kane. And if we're talking about huge mistakes, that would have been the biggest mistakes of the Blackhawks franchise, period. Okay?
You don't win any cups without him.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The core of guys that they had, some of the best players that Chicago has ever seen, with Haas, with Taves, and with Kaner. I mean, that would have been a gigantic mistake. We wouldn't be sitting here on 3 titles right now.
That's right. The Blackhawks also signed forward Josiah Slavin. It's a 2-year entry-level contract, $842,500. Goes against the salary cap, and he's going to start with the Rockford IceHawks, their AHL affiliate. And his brother is a defensive, Jacob, and he's from the Carolina Hurricanes. So they need help. So they're trying to address it with what they can, because hockey's got the smallest salary cap, and I think hockey is the hardest one to manage.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that these guys that are coming from overseas, I'm pretty sure his last name is not Slavin. It's probably like Slavin or some some very aggressive pronunciation there.
Yeah, where you skip some vowels and don't pronounce it. But I'm going to pronounce it this way until he corrects me.
There you go.
All right, what's going on with the Bulls?
The Bulls, they are playing hard. They're losing overtime games. The Bulls, they have a very interesting name that's been mentioned, linked to them, and it's one of Mike Logic's favorite from the Ball family. That's right, Lonzo Ball. There's a lot of noise, again, about Lonzo Ball being traded to the Chicago Bulls.
I mean, we need a point guard. Let's be frank about it. We need a true point guard. That way Kobe can move over to the shooting guard, and you let Zach LaVine do his thing. And that's part of the issue with the games that they're losing, is that Zach is either aggressive at the beginning and he takes over the whole game, or he tries to get everyone else involved, and it's the fourth quarter and he's only got 10 points.
So the thing is that when they drafted Kobe White, I think the original idea with him was to make him their point guard of the future. It doesn't seem to be that that's what's going to happen with him. When you watch him and Zach LaVine on the floor together, it's essentially the same player. Zach LaVine is obviously, he was an all-star this year. He's definitely the better player. But as far as style-wise, a couple of guys who don't particularly like to play defense, but they do like to score the ball. They like to get to the rim. They like to shoot the ball. So the problem is that essentially you have two guards on the team. And what happened instead is that now Billy Donovan ended up starting Satoransky at the point, who's looked very good. So now you have two of your last year's first round pick, and I'm going to say the year before, if I'm not mistaken, first round pick and Wendell Carter and Kobe White now riding the bench because old man Thad Young is starting over Wendell Carter, and Satoransky is starting over Kobe White. So
I mean, it's a learning lesson, and these vets are showing them how to play. And that's the thing, is like, hey, I'm gonna take your job, kid. I'll take your sandwich.
This is
and your lunch money.
Let me tell you, this is the thing that really bothers me about Wendell Carter, and I've expressed before that I'm not really a fan of his. No,
am I.
He always looks like he's sad. He has, I mean, like, we talked about confidence when we talk about like guys like Trubisky. We talked about Tim Anderson, another guy who just really needed to build his own self-confidence, and now he has all of it in the world. But Wendell Carter, man, every time you see him like miss a shot, not get a rebound, just anything, his head is down. His head is down, and he's looking at the ground. And what's happening is that the man he's supposed to guard is on the other end of the court, and he's getting ready to score. I am not impressed with this kid, man. I'm sorry. He's got to be 100% a piece that they're looking to trade if they're trying to bring in Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to go. I'm sorry. But, I mean, how do you feel about the Ball player coming over here, Lonzo Ball? Do you think that'd be a good fit for the team?
I think Ball is not a guy who's looking to score. He is a very good facilitator. He's good with passing the ball. And I think that with this team right now, a team full of scorers, you could play him at the point and have him and Kobe and Zach LaVine out there at the same time. And you'll see these kids running all over the place. You know what I mean? You get Pat Williams out there. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the center, because that's another issue, is that they don't have anyone. That's a big reason why they're losing these games. Because this is the frustrating thing, is that they're getting to overtime. I mean, they were beating the hell out of San Antonio. They were up by like 20 points, and then they end up losing in the end of the game. And I'm like, what is this? It's because they don't have that grit. They don't have that determination. They don't have that grind to them to sit there and be able to to finish off them games. They're front runners right now, and that's what it is. They'll get a big lead and they'll blow the lead. I mean, I want to say the last game, I want to say that San Antonio game, in the fourth quarter, San Antonio scored 30 points. Yeah.
It was a 17-0 run.
Yeah. So I know that San Antonio scored a ton and the Bulls scored 10. You can't do that, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, let's stay on the topic of basketball, because we have two college teams that were ripping it up, bro.
Ooh, baby. So, the Illinois Fighting Illini won the Big Ten tournament. They beat Ohio State 91-88. Again, Illinois was ranked number 2 in the conference for some stupid reason, because of that record thing we talked about before. But they went out there, they took care of business against Ohio State. And Ohio State went to the tourney as a number 2 seed, and they just got blown out early in the game. So who cares about them?
Right.
Illinois goes on as a number 1 seed. The first round of the tournament absolutely destroys number 16 Drexel. Loyola went out there and did their thing. They came in as an 8 seed. They beat Georgia Tech, 9 seed Georgia Tech, by 11 points. And then they went on and played Illinois in the second round.
Oh, man. So I wasn't able to watch most of the game because I had a bowling tournament, and I know you were out of town.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know how much you watched the game, but Illinois looked like they had no idea what happened. Like they got punched in the liver, and they were stunned the entire game. They made no adjustments for the second half, and props to Loyola. It's simple as that. Props to Loyola for showing that defensive tenacity because they don't have these. Was it Kofer?
Look, man. Let me tell you something.
I don't want to say his name the way it's spelled.
Coburn.
Coburn. Yeah.
Spelled Cockburn, and his name is somehow Coburn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I was in Tennessee, and we were driving back, and I'm sitting there, and I was like, hey, there's a game on today. It's two teams that I know well enough. I'm not a huge college basketball fan until the tournament comes. We had no tournament last year. I'm going to show some interest this year, right?
Right.
So I go to my wife. I says, hey, do me a favor and check the score of this game. She goes, oh, Loyola's up by 10. Oh, really? How much time is left? 1:41. I said, what?
Whoa, yep.
I said, I almost drove into a side of a mountain. And then, she comes back like, oh, game's over. Loyola won 71-58. What are you doing scoring 58? You are a number 1 seed, and you're playing against a number 8 seed, an in-state rival, if you want to call it that. You ain't been good since 2005. So, I mean, I guess I don't know what this means for the White Sox, bro.
Hey.
Anyway,
Hey.
Illinois
Save that
completely.
for next segment.
Look, they pissed down their leg. They crapped the bed, however you want to put it. They did not get the job done. Now, all the props in the world to Porter Moser because this man is tenacious. He's got that grit. He's out there busting his ass, recruiting all over the place, and he's bringing these players to his squad to play and go see Sister Jean and wave at her. But this is my most favorite player that he has, and with Cameron Quigg or anyway, Officer Farva is on the Loyola Ramblers, and this man, this is not a college student. This is a full-grown, like 37-year-old man, balding, a nasty-looking 80s mustache, and he's out there getting it done. Props to my man, Officer Farva, for going back to school, man.
Officer Farva. That's awesome. Man.
So look, man. Loyola is going to play another team who upset in their first game or their second round game. Oregon State, number 12 Oregon State, beat number 4 Oklahoma State 80-70. So now on the 27th, we're going to see Oregon State versus Loyola in the Sweet 16. When did you ever? Let me say, Oregon State beat number 5 Tennessee in the first round.
Yeah.
So Oregon State, again, the lower seed, going to be playing against number 8 Loyola.
If anything that's taught you over the last year, we've been, in this pandemic for a year, is that when sports have no fans, anything can happen because there's no backing. Your fans are not, making the noise and backing you up and getting you hyped. It's all on you now.
Oh yeah. Now I appreciate we had this discussion very early on because we started a pandemic, or we started a podcast in the middle of a pandemic. There's no sports going on, so we decided, hey, let's start a show about sports. but I've always said that I like the fan noise. I like the piped in fake noise that comes in because it still gives you something. You feel that in there, and guess what? Again, they're out there. They're playing for Sister Jean, 101 years old. She's so sunken in that chair. That mask is basically sitting on her chin because that's where her face is. I mean, good for her. Good for them. Hey, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
That's right. All right, we'll be right back with 3 Up and 3 Down Spring Training Edition after a word from our sponsor.
Yeah. This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
This is 3 Up and 3 Down. This is our baseball segment. We give you 3 good things and 3 bad things about our favorite teams.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
First up, the Chicago White Sox. Big Z, take it away.
White Sox. The White Sox. They signed Billy Hamilton earlier last week to a minor league deal. And now this is coming out to be an important thing because Adam Engel went down with a hamstring strain and it will not be available for opening day.
Billy Hamilton, longtime Cincinnati Red, very fast guy, so-so hitter. Had a cup of coffee with the Cubs, I want to say last year, year before. He's a good depth guy for you, especially with the
platoon guy, yeah.
Engel with that hammy. That is something that could bother him all season long. So I would definitely be concerned about that if it was a White Sox
Yeah,
fan.
I would not rush him back. Engel really just started like coming to his own last year, and he was blocked by because they wanted to give Marza, a shot. that dude's probably selling hot dogs on the side of the freeway right now. So yeah, Engel, take your time, brother. When you get healthy and you get right, then come back in. Don't worry, your talent's gonna rise up to give you playing time.
That's
All right.
right.
Point number 2, my boy Andrew Vaughn. He's been raking this spring training. I mean, I know spring training numbers are not what you've been looking at, but the kid's a rookie, hasn't played above A ball, and he's hitting .295. His OBP is .404 and OPS is .904. So for a kid that usually plays every day, is now transitioning to being a everyday DH and giving Abreu a spell at first base. I mean, the kid's doing pretty good. He's gonna have to break camp.
The thing is that your team is so full of young guys. The worry I have for someone like him is when he's used to playing every day and now he's relegated to essentially a backup role, a spot filler. Is he going to have that same fire in his belly well, let me put it this way. Is he going to be able to kind of fire himself up for every game and not be like, well, I didn't play yesterday, I guess I got to play today? Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. But the only good thing that I'm going to say about this is that we have one of the best, if not the best, DH in the organization.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely. I mean, this is a guy that we've been waiting to see what he's going to do.
Yeah. Well, I have my hat. My Jim Thome hat's right there. And he's working with Jim Thome. So if you can't, absorb knowledge from Jim Thome and do, what he's asking you to do, you're not going to make it. I mean, the kids doing well, and I'm glad that they are coaching him right. They're saying, hey, go talk to the Hall of Famer, and he's going to get you right.
And Thome is the kind of guy that you could just he looks like Paul Bunyan out there.
Oh yeah,
he's literally like the caricature version of like the biggest, strongest dude in the room. And usually when you get a guy like that, he's just super into himself. He's full of himself. But
not the case.
It's not the case whatsoever. He is super helpful. I mean, like he's a Hall of Fame. He could do out there be doing whatever he wants. And what does he want to do? He wants to be in-house helping out with the young guys. Props to Jim Thome.
Yeah. All right, last point here. We got some roster moves. Luis Gonzalez and Reynaldo Lopez.
Boy.
Yeah. Oh, boy, who struggled last year. They
Your
sent
favorite.
him. Yeah, right. They sent him to the alternate training site. So pretty much they're going to send him down to the what would be AAA at some point. Yeah, essentially, they're going to cut him. They also reassigned Tyron Guerrero, Alec McRae, and Connor Sadzak, and infielder Marco Hernandez. So, again, they're at this point, we're almost, a week away from opening day.
Right.
A lot of these guys got to get moved to the alternate training site, which will be the AAA, because AAA starts a month later than the regular season. So those are our moves. And then, the only thing right now I'm watching with the White Sox is the catcher position, which is up for grabs. Will it be Lucroy? Will it be Zavala, Collins, or Mercedes?
I said before, I think it's going to be Lucroy.
Yeah, they're going to probably go with experience.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you at a position like that, especially when you got young pitchers on this team? Okay? We're not talking about Arrieta. You know what I mean? 37 or 36 year, you know what I mean? We're not talking about John Lester. We're not talking about cats that have been in the game for, 30 years. We're talking about most of your rotation only been around for a couple years.
Right.
You got a couple of veterans in there, but you need someone in there that's going to be able to steer the ship.
Right. The caveat to that is that Collins came up with these guys, with the pitchers that are pitching on the rotation now, except for Keuchel and Lance Lynn.
Right.
But all the young guys, Collins was their catcher. So, those guys are pulling for him. But at the same time, it's like, well, this guy's a pretty good, catcher. So,
minors and majors is not the same, though.
Oh, no, I agree.
It's not even close to the same.
I agree. All right, man, what's going on up on the north side?
On the north side, my man, Jesus Camargo got the bag. That's right. Chicago Cubs prospect Jesus Camargo was arrested after police found 21 pounds of meth in his team equipment bag. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. There is a picture of this bag with a bunch of white stuff wrapped in cellophane, a couple of green packages, his cleats, his gloves, his gear. Son, what is you doing?
I think he was watching too much Breaking Bad.
Dude, what is happening right now? I mean, when they say get the bag, they didn't mean your equipment bag and fill it with drugs, bro. I don't know what part of the game is this.
Hey, I'm just want to say this. I don't want to hear nothing about Tony La Russa the rest of the year, brother. You guys take the cake. You guys win.
No, we take the cake. We take the meth. We take the heroin. All that stuff. And you know the worst part about this right now? If this was like 30 years ago, they would have been like, "Oh, you're just going to spring training, right? Okay,
right.
That's what every player does is drugs. Just tons and tons of drugs. It's like, how do you get hyped up for the game? I take drugs.
Yeah, Daryl Strawberry.
Right, this guy, listen, he gone. Number 2, Jack Peterson. He is on
fire.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm hoping and praying that this dude can translate this early success to the regular season. Again, fresh start, change of scenery. I hope that he's the dude that we saw early on in his career with the Dodgers, and not kind of towards the end when a lot of the other stars that were kind of budding around him came up and really took that mantle. And he really, he had nothing to go back on that.
Again, it was a great signing by the Cubs, and I really do wish him the best to play, over in the outfield over there at Wrigley.
That's high praise coming from a Dodgers fan over there.
I know, but my Dodgers are still in it. I'm not worried about the Cubs competing with the Dodgers.
Ooh, that hurts a little bit.
You're not gonna compete with the Dodgers. Stating facts, man.
Calm down. You never know. You never know. You're over here sitting on your White Sox mantle. You ain't done nothing yet. So
no, I'm sitting in my Dodger mantle right now.
Listen, my boy that was on the Cubs last year, Jeremy Jeffress, is not happy. He's still a free agent. He went to Twitter and he says, "I'm not signed yet because every team thinks I'm a problem. When it's the opposite, I come to play baseball. I come to become a family member of each and every player in the locker room. Ask every team I've been on. I'm close with every player." Let me tell you something.
Everybody in the room's like, "No, bro, you're a bad guy." And he's like, "No, I'm a good guy."
No,
look in the mirror, bro.
I don't think that's the case at all.
You don't think that's the case?
I don't think that's the case at all, because when we look, because you got to remember, last year is when they were supposed to launch Marquee Network early, and because the season wasn't starting, they dragged ass, and they finally got it up and going right before the beginning of the season.
Right.
But when you look, some of the early programming that they had on Marquee was about, hey, these are our new guys. This is what's going on. We followed this guy around for, 3 days or whatever it is. And you saw him interacting with all the guys, having fun, joking around. And if I had to take him or Kimbrel right now, I'd probably take him because he outperformed Kimbrel last year.
Right.
He's just a good pitcher. And, I mean, at this point, even on a short deal, you might as well bring him in. He's saying that it's his ex-agent that kind of poisoned the water for him.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to wish him bad. You hope he gets a job. But at the same time...
Get a job. Maybe he got that stimmy check and now he's just wilding out to see who's going to give him. He's like, "Look, man, I got this $1,400. He's like, "If you need, I can lend you maybe $1,300 of this. I got to keep that 100 to get to wherever we're doing spring training. But
maybe he was making a purchase from Camargo.
Ooh, whoa, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Big-Z thinks that Jeremy Dreyfus is on drugs.
Oh, man.
He's the kingpin the whole time. We didn't know it.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
All right, we'll be right back after a word from Grit Clothing Company.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh gear from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create simple, classic clothing that represents their Southside Chicago lifestyle. With products like hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and glassware, Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order. That's gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast with your host, E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
It's that time again, brother.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's time to stir the pot, baby.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. I got a good one from you this week just because I went to go get some food.
Uh-huh. Shocking.
Yeah. Hey, man, I got to keep this figure. And round is a figure.
Let me tell you something. Round is a shape.
Round is a shape.
I'm trying to get in shape. Well, baby, round is a shape.
That's right.
This is my favorite segment because we always talk about the thing that you and I do best, and that's eating and drinking. So
yes.
Lay it on me, brother.
Does rice belong in a burrito?
This is a weird-ass question.
And I'll justify it after you give me your answer. But go ahead. Does rice belong in a burrito?
So first of all, let me tell you that burrito's not really Mexican food.
No, it's Texan.
It's not. It's Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
My niece lived in Texas, and she just came back. She went on our trip to Tennessee with us, and she was telling me how terrible the food. She's like, I can't find any good Mexican food in Texas. And I'm like, well, that's surprising. She goes, no, because everything is Tex-Mex. Mm-hmm. So to be fair, a burrito isn't Mexican food. So let's just throw that out there right now.
Again.
Number two.
Yeah.
I have asked for rice in my burrito before.
Okay.
But that's when I was, living on like $5 a day.
Yeah, you want to fill yourself up.
And my $5 either went towards a pack of cigarettes or a burrito, and that was going to be my food for the day. Mm-hmm. So it just depended on how bad I wanted it. Mm-hmm. Do I prefer it? Hell no, give me some more meat.
Exactly.
We want the meat. That's what I want. So if I have the choice and I'm not broke and it's not my last $5 to see if I'm gonna eat today, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, there's no reason it should be in there. And this is why it came up because, I was working and my coworker's like, oh, do you want to go to Chipotle? And I'm like, no, not really.
Not on purpose.
Right. They're like, why? It was like, they put rice in their burrito. They're like, wait, you're not supposed to? I'm like, no.
Well, can I ask a question real quick?
Okay, yes.
Was this particular person of the Caucasian persuasion? I'm just going to ask that right now.
I am not at liberty to divulge because I do not want to incriminate the person and put them on the spot. But
yeah. Just for those out there, that was Braille. So just grab your radio and see what he said. But let me tell you something about Chipotle.
Yeah.
When they first came out, where was I? I was working at like a mom and pop hardware store or something like that. And I mean, literally first came out. And I got a free coupon to go have a burrito at Chipotle. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, free food. Hey, what's up?
Right.
I walk in there. I walk in there. I'm like, yes, can I have a burrito? And they're like, sure. What'd you like on it? This, and this. And then they gave me this thing. And I'm like, what? Why does this feel like this? And I open it up. And the problem is that they steamed those tortillas.
Yes.
And I'm like, hold up. I'm like,
it's not cooked yet.
Supposed to. You didn't finish.
Right.
You got to finish making my food. You got to take it after that burrito is wrapped, put it back on the grill.
Yes.
And let it sear and let that. You even got to let the end of the burrito or the tortilla sear to the rest of the tortilla or the burrito.
Yeah, so it doesn't open up, right?
So it don't open up. They hand me this thing like a wet T-shirt filled with crap. all the ingredients were cold. I'm like, why are you putting this cold ass corn and beans on my?
Yes.
What is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
I promise you, I did not eat Chipotle again for at least 15 years.
Yeah.
And then I had a burrito bowl, and it's cool.
Yeah.
I just don't have enough toilet paper in my house for that garbage. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
I can't do it.
If I'm gonna eat a burrito, it's gonna be from an authentic Mexican place that's gonna prepare the meat the way I want, not put rice in it. Lechuga, tomate. Your avocado.
I don't even want that lettuce and tomato. You can keep that.
Yeah.
Give me like, and the other thing too is what I don't like chicken because I feel like with chicken it gets dried out, it gets stringy, and it's sitting in the sauce all day. At least steak, when you see when they cook the steak, they're gonna cook it right then, and they get the bowl and they put it over there and they put the oil in there to get all the steam meat, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm gonna get a burrito, give me a steak burrito, give me some cheese, give me some sour cream, give me that avocado, whatever, and then that right there is good for me.
Yeah, because you don't put green or red sauce, huh?
Nah, I'm not a saucy boy. I like gravy. Jamaican food is a lot of sauce, like gravy
spices.
sauce. No, just like every meat has a sauce just because it fills you up more. But I mean, like the hot sauce and all that stuff, you can keep that. I don't need all that. Give me the flavor. To me, like hot sauce just changes the flavor of the food that you're trying to eat in the first place. If I want a hot sauce, I'll just eat hot sauce. Give me a straw. I'm good. Yeah, even give me a simple burrito as big as my head. That's what I need, bro. No big sucker. I can throw it over my shoulder and carry it down the street like a 2x4.
There's a place on the south side that does that. It's like the box is like literally like a foot long.
If I can't climb into it and just dig my way out with a spoon, I don't want it.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I got a question for you, sir.
Oh, here we go.
Before we go.
That's right.
What you looking at? Tell me what you've been watching that's not sports.
So, I spent 4 hours and 10 minutes watching the Snyder Cut.
Woo-wee. Now,
it was good.
To be fair, I
really
have
good.
not seen it.
It was really
I watched the original.
That was garbage.
Let me rephrase that. The TV watched me while the original was on because I dropped out and I snoozed. So tell me.
The story is fixed. There's a continuity in the story now. So everything everything makes sense. It wasn't just like, let me throw all these ingredients up in the air and maybe it cooks something good for me, It was a good story. The action was great. It gave a lot of backstories for Barry and for a lot of the characters in there. There's two surprise characters that show up. I don't want to ruin it for you, but if people who saw it, they understand who I'm talking about. The Superman stuff was, it made it more suspenseful, because he died in the other movie, so it's a good watch. You do have to break it up. It is a 4-hour movie. I wouldn't watch it all at once. I would watch hour and a half because it's broken down into chapters.
Okay.
There's about 4, 5, or 6 chapters in there, and so when you're watching HBO, you see little dots at the bottom. Those are the different chapters. So, he wanted to make it, as a big movie. HBO wanted kind of like a series. Then they were arguing, and at the end of the day, it's one big movie. Go watch it. It's worth the time. Just make sure you have enough food. Make sure you get 2 burritos.
Well, check it out. I don't mean to talk about myself like I do on every show. Saturday, after the show comes out, is my 40th birthday.
That's right.
Okay. So we got to find something to do. But one thing I will be doing is Chicago Police Department Nights, CPD Nights, is going to have a free baseball clinic for the kids. You can find all the information on our Facebook page. We will be sharing the information. So this will come out on the 25th on the Thursday. 27th, the Saturday, is when the event's going to take place.
Right.
So go ahead and check it out on our page. We'll have all the details, the address, all that stuff that's going on. And we will be there, waving and saying hi. And you don't have to say hi, but it'd be nice. Say what's up. I like the show and all that good stuff. Yeah. But definitely come and check out the event.
We also have Shorty fighting this week.
Shorty fighting 25th when this drops. Again, like we said earlier, unfortunately, his rematch is not going on this week. He's going to have a new opponent because Shorty Rock, Sean Santella, the other Shorty, He did have an undisclosed injury, so instead, our boy Shorty Torres is going to be fighting Blaine O'Driscoll. It looks like he's a young kid out of Ireland, so it should be a good fight. Definitely check that out, and go Shorty.
That's right. All right, man. Let's get out of here.
All right, y'all. That is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, Nor Caesar, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to check out gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order. Shout out to Ronesh and shout out to our super producer, Jay Soto.
Super duper.
Want to start a podcast or have your show sound as clean as ours? You can find everything you need at jsotomedia.com. Don't forget to check us out on social media. You can find us at True Chi Fans on Twitter. That's at True CHI Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and reach out to us on our email. We want to hear from you guys. Give us your show recommendations, your food recommendations, all that good stuff. We are ready. Find us at True Chicago Sports Fans at gmail.com. And don't forget to check out Mike Lodge and Ideal and the All Net podcast every other Monday, coinciding with the basketball season.
Mm-hmm. He's got a lot to talk about this week.
He sure does. Especially his boy LeBron got a boo-boo.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. For Big Z, this is E-Roc. We'll see you next week for episode 38. Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Yeah!
Vamos para la casa.
Happy birthday to me, son.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos. That's off. I shouldn't have had those artichoke poppers.